Hey everybody, welcome to Kastor'sCorner.com. I'm your host Khalil here for another toy of the day, and technically today's not a toy of the day. It is a object of the day. We'll talk more about that later. For a full rotation gallery of this item, you can go to Kastor'sCorner.com and you can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. You can check out the Cornercast podcast. We've got a lot of great shows for you. You can subscribe to that and subscribe to our channel right here. We really appreciate it. And honestly, like the next 7, 8, 9 days are sponsored really by Diamond Select Toys. We want to give them a huge thank you. That huge box that we showed off the other day was in fact from them. Because we don't get to see them at Comic-Con. Thank you, Zach and Chuck and all the guys over at Diamond, and all the sculptors that worked really hard on these things. They're some amazing pieces of art, and really they are pieces of art that we're going to talk about this week. And I might insert another figure here or there, but for the most part, it is going to be a Diamond full week. I'm excited about it. It's really great. There were a lot of surprises. I really only expected one thing, and I got a lot. So super excited for that. So these were definitely provided for sample reviews. And I'll be honest, I've got some issues with a couple of them, or one of them. And we'll talk about that. But today I really don't have any issues. I mean, this is one of the most gorgeous things I own in my collection at this point. I'm super excited about it. We're going to talk about this guy. Doctor Doom. I love the MCU. I really do. I love the Marvel Universe. I even like the Fantastic Four movies. I'm a really big fan of Michael Chiklis. Chris Evans was great as Johnny Storm. Even Sue and Reed were great additions to the cast. Do I think they did a good job with Doctor Doom? No. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I have a huge fascination with Doctor Doom as a villain. He is one of my favorite Marvel characters. There's something about his costume and his outfit, not even uniform, his armor look and the costume to it. There's just something mystical and magical about it. Funny, it's Doctor Doom, right? He was kind of like low-key the villain of the Marvel Universe for me growing up. I know, Green Goblin, and I know Thanos was there, and I know Kang was around. I know all these great villains were around, but for some reason, Doom here really stood out to me. And I don't do the busts either. I really don't. I don't do, and I know I say that as there's a few there behind me. But statues and the collectible side of it haven't been a really big part of my collection as of late. It's more about like space. Like I don't have the space, and I don't like, for me personally, aesthetically, I don't like when everything's crowded up on one shelf, even if it's on different layers and all that stuff. I don't like the way that looks, because you don't get to enjoy the piece of art that is what it is. And so I'm very selective at this point. I have a bunch of statues downstairs, but at this point in my collection, I'm very selective in picking things that really, really hold a special place for me. So here's Doctor Doom. This is a limited edition of 3,000. We got number 1658, so right in the middle of the run. Designed by Nelson, sculpted by Juan Piluk, Pitluk. It is just, it captures the magic of Doctor Doom for me. It really does. I already took him out of the box. He's been on the shelf for 2 days now. I couldn't help myself. But there's a lot of different features to the statue itself. So I'm going to very gently pick him up, show him off to you guys. So there he is. He's not huge, right? He's not that big of a statue, but he's a good sized bust. The detail and the texture that they gave to the cape and the skirt and the tunic here. It's all like cross hatched. It's very textured. The armor and the chainmail that goes in between the armor pieces. I'm trying to see if I can find a piece that's easily accessibly seen. A lot of it's covered by his cape. Yeah, the only way I can really show it is if I show you the underside, and yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it. I'll try to do a good job with the pictures. How's that? He's got chainmail that also is textured and shown off underneath. The fire here is cast in a translucent material, so when it catches light, it really, really shines really well. And he's got that scarred, very, very, very. I'm holding it like a figure, and I just feel myself cringing every time I kind of twist it and turn it. But it needs to be looked at and shown off. He's got like the scarred face that I think of when I think of Doctor Doom. That whole idea of like that scarred face underneath, putting on that mask, scarring his face, and considering himself a monster, but a ruler as a monster. I think was really fascinating about this is the way it was packaged. Inside, within this box, it's wrapped, of course, in styrofoam. But what they did was to protect the cape, because the cape is actually, it almost feels like it moves a little bit. The cape is a separate piece that is laid on top of the body part. And so what they did was they packed peanuts in between here to keep that space, because otherwise within transport, the cape probably would have collapsed or broken off. There is a slight, very, very slight color variation with the hood and the cape back here. It's a darker tone to the cape and a little bit of a lighter tone to the hood. The base, I'm going to be very, very careful here. The base is very like machinist, very armored kind of look. There's definitely texture down there as well. I mean, it is just one of the most gorgeous pieces of art I own. And really, I mean, I think that's the difference with stuff like this. That these are works of art, in my opinion. You can see it's a resin bust. You can see down below. I'm going to put him down just so I don't have a little panic attack about chipping or breaking anything, because they're not meant to be handled like that. So I'll do this. So, I think one of the things that doesn't always come across, sorry, it's the lighting, that doesn't really come across, because this is a comic book character, and it's mass produced, right? There are 3,000 of these. That's not a huge number, but it's a big enough number. The idea that what art is. And I think as we go through what they sent over from Big Boy Thanos here to Doctor Doom here, right here, in different ways they're pieces of art. And for me, it's not so much about collecting it and owning it, but it's about reflecting what those feelings are about the characters themselves. And I think that is what really speaks to me, because honestly, I wouldn't, like, they have done some really cool Johnny Storms and other Fantastic Four characters. I wouldn't buy them just because the character itself doesn't speak to me. They really have to mean something. They really have to be part of it. And I know it seems like I buy a ton of stuff, and I do. And that's why when I critique things, I'm looking at them from the lens of how does this piece of art speak to me? And I think that is something that gets glossed over a lot of times when we buy toys or buy these collectibles based on comic books, is that at the end of the day, this is museum quality art right here. And it is just important, in my opinion, as the art we see in modern art museums. I think the work that these sculptors and designers are doing and creating and then giving them back to the public in an affordable, manageable way, I think really, really speaks to how I'm losing myself because I'm just so enamored by this thing. I think that the art here really speaks to a passion that a lot of us have. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I really can't put into words the emotional response I get from seeing how cool this thing looks, from the chainmail to the armor to the texture in the cape and the hood and his mask, the little rivets in different parts of his costume. There's just something about this that elicits an emotional response from me that is joy. And I think that's what a lot of us, when we collect these things, we're looking for that joyful emotional response. And they don't always make sense. I'm definitely, from what you can, well, I don't know. It's kind of 50-50 at this point. But for the most part, I'm definitely a Batman world guy. I like Marvel. I like Turtles. I like G.I. Joe. I like all these things. But it's Robin and... wait, where are we? We're over here. It's Robin and Thundercats for me. Like, that's where the love is. But honestly, things like this just are so gorgeous that I can't help but feel something when I pick this up, when I look at it. And it is, we will rotate things in and out, but as I say, there are certain things that won't get rotated, and this is 100% one of those things that won't get rotated. So I want to once again thank you, Diamond Select Toys, for sending this along. It is in a good home, and it is well loved. You can get this at your local comic book shop. Don't pass on this. If you're a fan of Doctor Doom, if you're a fan of Marvel, really, honestly, like, don't pass on this gorgeous thing here at all. It's definitely worth it. You can check out a full gallery. We're going to do full turnarounds and get as many details as we can on castorscorner.com. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. You can check out the Cornercast podcast every Monday night. And hit the subscribe button somewhere down below. We really appreciate it, because the more of you that join us, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. And we might be able to give back something that we got this week. We're going to work that out. We got a few kinks to work out of our idea. But thank you guys for watching. And he will be living somewhere behind me when I find his permanent home. And join us tomorrow night again for another toy of the day. Oh, thank you again to Diamond Select Toys and Zach for sending these along. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night for another toy of the day here on castorscorner.com. Good night, everybody.